Good morning, everyone, and welcome to E3 2021. Good morning, my beautiful nerd nation. Tsusasi here, and here we are in the year 2021, and E3 is back. Or is it? The electricity generated could probably barely power my mic over there with that 9-volt battery. A lot of people have been saying it's a hot mess or it's a dumpster fire. I don't know that I agree with that. I wouldn't go that far because there have been some interesting and fun announcements, and honestly, we've seen some good games. It's just the wow factor isn't there. I think a lot of the really exciting stuff has come from indie developers as well, but here we are. And E3 is winding down. Let's be honest, there isn't much left except for Nintendo. Nintendo is left in the unenviable spot, and honestly, I think it's more gamers and the gaming press that have put them in this position. It's kind of a manufactured position, but here they are being kind of painted as the saviors of E3 2021. This video is about me taking a look at what some possibilities could be for Nintendo's announcements, and again, this is kind of half serious, half tongue-in-cheek, and honestly, I'm taking a different approach because we already know kind of what's already out there, what as far as predictions, as far as things, known quantities, and kind of directions we expect Nintendo to go into. A lot of this is kind of driven by the fact that there are a lot of anniversaries this year for Nintendo. So we're looking at this year alone, and this isn't even going to be the entire complete list, but we already know Pokemon 25th anniversary, Zelda 35th anniversary. But did you know Donkey Kong 40th anniversary is this year? Animal Crossing 20th, Pikmin 20th anniversary. 20 years. Oh my god, I'm old. Metroid 35th anniversary. Yoshi 30th anniversary. Kid Icarus 35th. And there are more. My take on this is kind of going to riff off of the fact that there are so many anniversaries this year, anniversaries that Nintendo can't ignore, but at the same time don't really have the resources to do remakes, updates, collections of all these different beloved characters, beloved IPs. So with that in mind, let's take a look at my sort of maybe possibly not really, but why not predictions for Nintendo's event. It's not to say that Nintendo is actually going to do these things, but I really believe that these games offer opportunities for Nintendo to add to their lineup to pad 2021 with additional gameplay options. But if you could do me a favor and take the time to hit that subscribe button and maybe ring the notification bell, clap your hands and say that you believe, maybe I'll be getting some more content uploaded here and you will be one of the first to know about it. That would be fantastic. That would be fun. Please forgive me if I rush past some things that you might have wanted me to expound upon. So I have some thoughts, and as we all know, my mind is chaos, so those thoughts are also chaos, so let's get into it. If only I had been able to get my butt in front of a camera sooner, this would have been kind of a fun win for me. But I did not. Therefore, here I am after the fact having to say my number one was going to be, it was Mario and Rabbids. And a lot of people don't realize this. This game, for being as niche as it was, even with these wonderful IPs mashed up, it was a very niche game. And the game sold around 2.5 million copies. I mean, that's nothing to laugh at, nothing to sneeze at, whatever the saying might be. It's not that. But I had no idea that the game had enough of an audience, had sold enough, and had been successful enough, and had enough of a fan base that Ubisoft would release a full sequel. So my first Prog-NOT-stication was going to be a Mario and Rabbids DLC pack, Zelda theme for the 35th anniversary. And I was thinking Zelda: A Link to the Past, because I thought that aesthetic would be absolutely wonderful, transformed into the Rabbids 3D world. So I was kind of right already. So one that's kind of out there, but at the same time I think is really kind of a possibility, especially when you look at how successful such similar DLC has been for Super Smash Bros. ARMS. This game is due for an update. Before you go shrugging this off, keep in mind that ARMS, regardless of what you think of the game or whether or not you played it, this game has sold over 2 million copies. And again, that's nothing to break wind at or whatever. This game has done well, and I believe it's done well enough for a season pass. A season pass for ARMS would make sense. Say 4 fighters over the rest of this year, each one with, of course, their unique weapons, their unique movesets, and a unique arena for each one. I thought that this would be a great idea to revitalize and sort of prep this IP for the next generation of Nintendo hardware. Another one that people might think is kind of out there, but that I believe has a great chance of getting some DLC, is Ring Fit Adventure. We're talking about a game that has over 8 million copies sold. And once again, you gotta keep in mind these numbers probably aren't 100% up to date. I did my best to find the stuff on the internet and do the thing with the Google machine, but you know that things kind of lag behind. So Ring Fit Adventure has already seen some additional content and an additional mode. So to beef up those modes, add new music to the rhythm-based activities, to add new side quests to the whole adventure. A Donkey Kong. I mean, there's a rumored Donkey Kong rhythm game coming up. Why not have a rhythm-based side quest with Donkey Kong? Kind of prep, kind of, get people ready for that. Or even Zelda-themed. You could go up against any number of Zelda villains. What a great way to celebrate the 35th anniversary by adding little nuggets here and there in different IPs that are already out there. But barring a Zelda theme, I really do believe that Ring Fit Adventure is really ripe for some DLC. Continuing with the theme of games that may not truly be on the tip of your tongue when it comes to DLC, Luigi's Mansion. I'm just going to put it out there. Luigi's Mansion has sold close to 10 million copies, once again, not counting digital. And this game is incredible fun. They have already released a lot of DLC for Luigi's Mansion. So up till now, most of the additional content, though, and the passes have been for multiplayer. It's really been a multiplayer focus. The game itself, the single-player experience itself was fantastic, but it did seem a little short. To beef up gameplay opportunities for your audience than to offer additional single-player DLC for a game that received great reviews, people have loved, and just would have liked to have seen a little bit more. And maybe include some of the quality of life adjustments that people have been asking for this game. Not necessarily asking for, but talking about, little tweaks to the gameplay. Perfect opportunity to drop some DLC for Luigi's Mansion 3. So now that we've touched on the outliers, let's take a look at some games that make a little bit more sense. Let's get one of the obvious ones out of the way, Animal Crossing. There are so many ways that this could go. First of all, I fully expect, much like Mario, that we'll be seeing Zelda 35th anniversary items, textures, clothing, what have you, available in the game. I definitely believe that that's going to be announced. But beyond that, I really honestly think that it is time for a full-on update for the game that includes Tortimer's Island, the captain, all of that wonderfulness, all of the things that are missing. Honestly, I think it's time, instead of doing little piecemeal updates, I think it's time for them to release a full-on New Leaf DLC pack. They've been dropping little things here and there that fans have wanted. It's time. We know that we're going to get our seasonal updates. We know we're going to get our holiday updates. That's well and good. That's fine. And those will continue ad nauseum for however long Nintendo deems it to be relevant. I don't think we're going to see a new Animal Crossing game anytime soon, and that includes for new hardware. I just don't see it being a thing. These are incredibly replayable worlds. This is incredibly replayable content. The whole idea of an Animal Crossing game is that it is a game that is playable basically forever, to be honest. You know, if you really wanted to, I go back and play New Leaf as it is repeatedly. In fact, I prefer it, but you know, that's a whole other video. So I'm thinking whether it's a season pass that they make you buy, which I think would really suck, where they drop individual little segments of the New Leaf universe, or if it's one giant update that you pay for. And honestly, I'd be willing to pay for that. I'd be willing, you know, like $5, maybe $10, depending on how much additional content is on offer. But bringing back Brewster, bringing back Tortimer's Island, bringing back all of the beloved mechanics and villagers characters from the New Leaf universe, I think that is definitely worthwhile. But whatever it is, make New Leaf happen. Make it happen in New Horizons, because New Leaf, to my mind, is a far more engaging and entertaining offering than New Horizons has been to date. Yeah, I said it. The next one is probably obvious as well, because I've already talked about the idea that these evergreen games, it would be really counterproductive for Nintendo to release full-on sequels to them while they are still experiencing tremendous sales and right before the release of new hardware. When people look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a game that ostensibly launched on the Wii U, and that is still rocking the charts after all of these years on the Switch as well, why would you release Mario Kart 9? What would compel Nintendo to do that? I can't imagine any scenario in which that makes good financial sense, and I could be horribly wrong, and feel free to let me know if I am. Once again, I think this is a great opportunity to celebrate some of the anniversaries coming our way this year. So with that in mind, like they did with the original Mario Kart 8, individual packs that you can buy. I was a bit worried about Nintendo entering the world of paid DLC and that sort of thing, but they did it right with that DLC for Mario Kart 8, and if they do the same this time around, I'm all in. Instead of that Mario Kart 9 that we all wish we would have, but no, we probably aren't going to get, say you get a Zelda track, one maybe based on the Breath of the Wild sequel. Wouldn't that be a fun teaser? How about a Pokemon track? That would be amazing. The different regions that you could be driving through, the different Pokemon that maybe even you can interact with to some degree, or a special item for that stage, or some special mechanic that happens because of the tracks in the Pokemon. What about a Pikmin track? Or, holy crap, Metroid. Come on, man. Who wouldn't love to see a Metroid-themed track? And with each of these tracks, additional racers, at least one, and additional vehicles and upgrades for the vehicles based on that theme. That would be flippin' amazing. So yeah, Metroid or Pokemon or Zelda. I mean, there are so many anniversaries this year to choose from, but this would be a great opportunity for Nintendo to address the fact that people want more Mario Kart, but at the same time not invest resources in a full Mario Kart game that could instead be released on newer hardware. So here's a couple of more really quickly before I get to the one that really makes sense to me based on recent activity and I would actually love, because I love the game. I just don't think that it was crafted as well as it could have been, but here's an opportunity for them to do better. But before we get to that, Super Mario Odyssey. I don't see Nintendo investing in a full sequel to Mario Odyssey or in another 3D Mario game when they're on the cusp of a next generation system. Unless these announcements would be related to versions of the game, sequels to games that also had enhanced versions for the next generation of hardware, or were enhanced and just for that next generation of hardware and were for next year. But I really truly believe that a full-on Mario game, especially in lieu of all the Mario releases last year and this year, I really don't think that that's where they would go. So instead, a wonderful Super Mario Odyssey expansion, a DLC pack with whole new areas to explore. Maybe with it being Yoshi's 30th anniversary, maybe Yoshi becomes a large part of the game and we see more and new gameplay mechanics that utilize Yoshi. Another one, and I don't know how likely this is because it was just released, but it would also in a way make sense because reasons. Pokemon Snap. A whole new region to explore. All new Pokemon. Maybe a retro vibe. Think of all of the Pokemon content that is out there that they could draw from. It's the Pokemon 25th anniversary. You could draw from so many different Pokemon games, so many different Pokemon out there. Think of all the different Pokemon that you could capture, that you could snap. The possibilities are just nearly endless. There are so many Pokemon. There are so many regions to explore. Why not make that DLC packs? Maybe they release regional DLC packs with various generations of Pokemon. Money-making machine. Alrighty, so that brings us to my favorite Prog-NOT-stication that I have made. It's a game that I love. It's a couch multiplayer at its finest when done right. And we all know the series has had lots of missteps, but just recently, Mario Party was updated. There were lots of little tweaks made to the game, and online multiplayer was added, and it struck me as odd that after all this time, granted the game sold, close to 14 million, but it also received a lot of criticism. It wasn't critically received very well. So it begs the question, why would Nintendo put the resources into updating online play and making tweaks to Mario Party, a game that was a bit lackluster, where the individual boards were meh, and the quantity of boards was ridiculously low, unless we were going to get board packs. And that just makes sense to me. I mean, once again, we wait for quite a while between iterations of Mario Party sometimes, and then there has been some disappointment. So the basic gameplay mechanics, a lot of, in the mini games, people were generally okay with for this last one. It felt like developers were moving in the right direction and returning to the Mario Party of old. It was certainly more fun to play than the last couple of iterations, especially that dismal Wii U amiibo iteration. Oh, madame. It really took away from all of the things that made Mario Party fun. So here is an opportunity for Nintendo to not only revitalize the Mario Party franchise and also kind of pad out 2021 with some gameplay options, but here's a way for them to celebrate. And let me explain. I thought about this, and I cannot remember there being too much, other than Donkey Kong, I can't remember there being too much by way of themed levels for Mario Party. And I thought to myself, why in the hell hasn't there been? With that in mind, think about it. A Zelda themed level, a Pokemon themed level, where you could even incorporate perhaps using or capturing Pokemon as a simple, not anything complex, but as a simple gameplay mechanic. Pokeballs, maybe that's a specific item that's on that board alone to capture stars or to capture other characters and toss and release them wherever you wanted to. Aim on the board, choose a spot, and toss that Pokeball and release them somewhere after capturing them. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, and I'm by no means a game developer, but what about Yoshi's Island? And do it, better yet, do it in the style of Yoshi's Island on the SNES, but take that aesthetic into a 3D world. That would be gorgeous. That would be fun. That would be beautiful. Specific gameplay mechanics. Incorporate Yoshi somehow. Maybe you can release Yoshi when you step on a space, and it allows you to travel extra spaces and gobble up things that would normally gobble up obstacles that people have placed. The booby traps that people have thrown and placed on the board. Maybe as you're going along, Yoshi will gobble those up and poop them out. At any rate, I would love to see an update from Mario Party. That would be absolutely amazing. So much fun. It would really push Mario Party to the next level. bringing in some really truly interesting boards, some truly interesting gameplay mechanics specific to these boards. Maybe there's characters that are specific. You get additional characters you can play as, one each for each of the board packs or a couple each for each of the board packs. It is a great opportunity, and I can't see why Nintendo has, coming out of a lockdown world, now suddenly updated with online play, unless it was laying the groundwork for some additional boards. And they are much needed. The original boards are meh. The original boards are okay, but there also aren't a lot of them. And that was something that was a departure from previous Mario Party games as well. There aren't that many boards. So why not? Why not Mario Party DLC? You give me one damn good reason why we shouldn't see some Mario Party DLC, especially themed. I mean, we have all these wonderful anniversaries. Why not? And I guess that really is kind of the theme of my Prog-NOT-stications. Why not? Here are some opportunities for Nintendo to capitalize on these anniversaries this year, these major IPs that really, honestly, I don't know how many of them Nintendo either has the resources or the need to create new releases for. Many of these are evergreen titles that are selling well. They're still making the top 10, not only in Nintendo sales, but in game sales overall, which is just absolutely insane, but, you know, because Nintendo. Like I said at the top, these were just for fun. I would love to see what you think, what your predictions are. I think we all know some of the big ones, but do you think any of these DLC ideas that I put forth have any merit? Do you think that they could actually happen? If not, an announcement for this E3 at all this year or maybe next year, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, if you had fun, if you wandered in, or if you're already subscribed, hit that like button if you like what you saw. And if you're new to the channel, by all means, please smash that subscribe button, and if you want to ring that notification bell, just give it a little tinkle. That way you'll know when I upload new content, which I'm hoping is going to be a hell of a lot more often than it has been. And I'm happy to be able to upload a little bit of content, and hopefully it made you smile, hopefully you had fun. And until next time, you know how we do here. Peace, love, and Nintendo! And which is even more relevant in this particular video. Nintendo! I'm doing that thing. I'm gonna boop!